Men think they know what women want, but do they really? There are things she will never say out loud, but she expects them deep within her heart. And if you miss these, you may lose her without even knowing why. A relationship is not just about being together, it is about understanding the silent needs of the other person. Women especially carry expectations that they may never voice, but they still hold close to their hearts. If a man fails to recognize these, the connection weakens and love turns into obligation. Today, let's unveil these 10 silent expectations women have. Not because they are demanding, but because love, when nurtured the right way, flourishes into something beyond just companionship. It becomes a soulful connection. Love is not something you say, it is something you show, something you prove every single day. If your words say, I love you, but your actions whisper, I don't care, then your words mean nothing. A woman does not want poetry without presence. She does not want promises without proof. You see, love is not just a feeling, it is an action. It is what you do when no one is watching. It is the little things, the unseen efforts, the sacrifices made in silence. A man who understands this does not wait for a special occasion to make her feel special. He does not only show up when she is crying, he is present even when she is smiling, making sure that her happiness is not momentary but something she can lean on. Love is in the way he notices when she is exhausted, how he brings her a cup of coffee without being asked, how he runs his fingers through her hair when she is deep in thought, reminding her that she is not alone in this world. Have you ever noticed how a woman's eyes light up when she feels seen? Not just admired, but truly seen, when a man listens not to reply but to understand, when he remembers the things she never even thought were significant, the way she likes her tea, the song she hums absent-mindedly, the way she gets lost in thought when watching the rain. This is where most men go wrong. They believe love is about grand declarations, about public displays, about expensive gifts. But what is a diamond ring if the heart behind it is cold? What is a luxury vacation if the moment you return you treat her like a stranger? A woman does not crave extravagance. She craves consistency. She craves a love that does not fade when life gets busy. She craves effort, not in moments of guilt or on anniversaries, but in the everyday, in the ordinary, in the moments that no one else notices. Look around you. How many relationships have faded not because love wasn't there, but because effort disappeared? How many times has a woman begged for attention, not through words, but through her silence? You see, a woman will not always tell you what she needs. She will not always ask for your effort, but she will notice when it's missing. She will feel the emptiness of a hug that has no warmth, the hollowness of a goodnight text sent without thought, the distance in your presence even when you are sitting right beside her. Imagine a garden. If you stop watering the plants, they don't die immediately. They still stand, still hold on, still fight for survival. But slowly the leaves begin to dry, the roots begin to weaken, and one day, without warning, the plant that once thrived begins to wither. This is how love dies. Not in a moment, not with a loud explosion, but in the slow fading of effort, in the absence of care, in the small neglects that pile up until the weight of them is too much to bear. Effort is not about doing everything, it is about doing something. It is about choosing her every single day, even when life gets busy, even when stress weighs heavy on your shoulders, even when routine sets in. Think of a mother with her child. She does not love the child only when she feels like it. She does not care for the child only on good days. Even in exhaustion, even in frustration, she is there. Because love, in its purest form, is not about convenience, it is about commitment. A woman is not asking for the impossible. She is not asking you to be perfect. She is asking you to be present. Remember that love is not a one-time act, but a lifetime of small choices that say, I see you, I cherish you, I choose you. Because in the end, it is not the big moments that define love. It is not the grand gestures, the candlelight dinners, or the Instagram-worthy surprises. It is the quiet devotion of everyday effort. It is the way you choose her, not just when she is glowing, but also when she is tired, when she is lost, when she is unsure of herself. You do not have to move mountains to prove your love. Sometimes all she needs is for you to hold her hand when no one is looking, to check on her when she's had a rough day, to remind her through the simplest acts that she is valued, that she is loved, that she is enough. That is the kind of effort that speaks louder than words. That is the kind of love that never fades. A woman can sit next to you, hold your hand, share a meal with you, and still feel alone. Because presence is not just about being there, it's about being truly there. Have you ever seen a couple sitting together in a restaurant, yet they are miles apart? He is scrolling through his phone, she is stirring her drink in silence. They are together, but not connected. They share space, but not emotions. This is the slow death of love, not through betrayal, not through loud fights, but through absence in presence. Most people believe that relationships break because of major mistakes, infidelity, dishonesty, loss of passion, but in truth, most love stories die in silence. Not because of what was done, but because of what was not done. Because when a woman feels emotionally unseen, unheard, and untouched, her heart starts retreating long before her body leaves. A woman does not just need a man who is physically beside her. She needs a man who makes her feel that even in a room full of noise, he hears her. Even in a world full of distractions, he sees her. Even in the chaos of life, he feels her. That is what it means to be emotionally present. She does not need you to solve all her problems. She does not expect you to have all the answers. But when she speaks, she hopes you listen, not just with your ears, but with your heart. She hopes you don't dismiss her emotions as overthinking. She hopes you don't call her feelings drama. She hopes you understand that when she shares her fears, her dreams, her anxieties, it is not to burden you, but because she trusts you. Do you know what happens when a woman no longer shares? When she no longer argues, no longer complains, no longer tries to make you understand? It means she has already let go in her heart. The opposite of love is not hate, it is indifference. And nothing makes a woman more indifferent than feeling invisible in the presence of the one she loves. Think about a child calling out to their parent, but the parent is too busy, too tired, too distracted to respond. At first, the child will keep calling, but over time they will stop. Not because they don't need love, but because they have accepted that love is not available. The same thing happens in relationships. When a woman stops reaching out, stops explaining, stops expecting, she has already walked away emotionally. A man who understands this knows that love is not just about providing financial security, gifts, or a roof over her head. Yes, those things are necessary. But what good is a luxurious home if she feels lonely inside it? What good is a fancy dinner if your eyes are glued to your phone instead of looking at her? What good is a good night text if it carries no real warmth? A woman craves emotional connection. She longs to be held, not just by your arms, but by your understanding. She longs to be cherished, not just in the words you say, but in the way you make her feel safe with her emotions. She longs to be understood, not just through occasional deep conversations, but through your daily attentiveness. Your ability to notice when she is off, when her silence is loud. Love is not found in a grand vacation, a designer gift, or a candlelit dinner alone. It is found in the moments where she looks at you, hoping you will see that she is not okay, and you actually do. It is in the way you put your phone down when she is talking, the way you hold her just a little longer when she sighs deeply, the way you ask, "What's on your mind?" and genuinely listen to her answer. Look around. How many women stay in relationships but feel utterly alone? How many marriages turn into arrangements where two people simply coexist without truly seeing each other? And why? Because we have been taught that love is about being together. But the truth is, love is about being present. Presence is when she tells you about her childhood fears and you remember them years later. Presence is when you notice she's had a rough day without her having to say a word. Presence is when you ask, "How are you?" and actually wait for the real answer, not just the polite one. A woman does not need you to be perfect. She does not need you to have all the solutions. But she needs to know that when she reaches for you, emotionally you are there, not just as a physical body in the room, but as a heart that beats in sync with hers. A woman is not born to be someone's shadow. She is not created to shrink herself so that a man can feel bigger. She has her own dreams, her own ambitions, her own battles to fight, and her own victories to claim. And the biggest mistake a man can make is to think that love means ownership. Love is not about caging a bird, it is about standing in awe as it soars. She was independent before she met you. She was handling life, making decisions, chasing dreams, and solving problems long before you entered her world. So if you think your presence should suddenly make her dependent, if you think she should now ask for permission for every move she makes, you have misunderstood what love is. There is nothing more beautiful than a woman who knows who she is and refuses to apologize for it. A woman who walks into a room with confidence, who speaks her mind without fear, who refuses to shrink herself to fit into someone else's idea of feminine. And the right man, he doesn't feel threatened by this. He doesn't try to dim her light just so he can shine brighter. He admires it, he supports it, because a secure man knows that her strength does not make him weak, it makes them powerful together. A relationship is not about taking away her independence. It is about standing beside her as she continues to grow. It is about respecting that she has her own thoughts, her own passions, and her own way of doing things. A woman does not need a man to complete her. She needs a man who will remind her that she was already whole before he arrived. Look at the world around you. How many women have been taught to dim their voices just to keep the peace? How many have been told, "Don't be too ambitious, men don't like that"? How many have sacrificed their dreams because someone told them that a good woman follows rather than leads? But a real man, a man who understands love beyond his ego, knows that a strong woman is not a challenge, she is a gift. A woman who has her own independence, her own identity, and her own sense of purpose is not someone to control, but someone to celebrate. Think about a tree. A strong tree does not need to lean on another tree to stand tall. It has its own roots, its own strength. And yet, when two strong trees stand side by side, they create something even greater. A forest. That is what a true relationship is. Two independent souls standing strong together, not losing themselves in each other, but growing beside each other. But many men make the mistake of thinking that love means control. They want to dictate where she goes, what she wears, who she talks to, how she lives. They confuse possessiveness with care, jealousy with love. But love does not say, "I will control you." Love says, "I trust you." Love does not say, "You belong to me." Love says, "You belong to yourself, and I am honored to walk beside you." A woman's independence is not a threat, it is her strength. And if you love her, you will respect that strength, not try to weaken it. You will understand that just because she doesn't need you doesn't mean she doesn't want you. There is a big difference. A dependent woman stays because she has no choice. An independent woman stays because she chooses to. And isn't that what real love should be? A choice, not a necessity. You cannot love a woman by putting her in a cage and then expect her to sing. You cannot ask her to give up her dreams and then expect her to smile. You cannot clip her wings and then get angry when she no longer flies. A woman's independence is not something to be feared. It is something to be honored. She will have dreams that may not include you. She will have passions that are hers alone. She will have moments where she needs space, silence, and solitude to grow. And if you truly love her, you will give her that freedom, because you will understand that a love that suffocates is not love, It is possession. And possession always destroys what it holds too tightly. Do not ask her to prove her love by giving up parts of herself. Do not measure her commitment by how much she obeys you. Instead, measure your love by how much you trust her, by how much you celebrate her independence, by how much you support her in being exactly who she is. A woman who is truly loved is a woman who is free, free to speak, free to dream, free to be strong. And if you cannot handle that, then it is not love you want, it is control. But a man who truly loves, he does not control, he empowers. He does not confine, he uplifts. He does not weaken, he strengthens. Because he knows that a woman's independence is not something to fight against. It is something to stand beside. A relationship without deep, meaningful conversations is like a book with blank pages. It may look perfect on the outside, but inside there is nothing to hold on to. Words have power, not just the casual words spoken out of habit, but the words that carry weight, the words that open doors to the soul, the words that make two people feel like they truly understand each other beyond the surface. A woman doesn't just want to talk, she wants to be heard, truly heard. Not the kind of hearing where you nod your head while staring at your phone, not the kind of hearing where you wait for her to finish just so you can talk about yourself. No, she wants the kind of conversation where she feels seen, where she feels like her thoughts, her fears, her dreams, and her emotions matter. Imagine a woman sitting in front of you opening up about her day, her struggles, her thoughts. She's not just talking. She's offering you a glimpse into her world. And if you just shrug it off with a distracted yeah or a half-hearted okay, you are missing the entire essence of connection. When she speaks, she isn't looking for solutions all the time. She doesn't always need you to fix things. Sometimes all she needs is to feel that her words mean something to you, that you value her thoughts, that you get her in a way no one else does. You see, there are men who can make a woman laugh, men who can buy her gifts, men who can shower her with compliments. But what truly captures her heart is the man who can talk to her like she's the most fascinating person in the world. A man who can sit with her under the night sky and discuss the meaning of life. Who can challenge her mind, who can explore the depths of who she is beyond her looks, beyond her job, beyond what the world sees. Too many relationships fail not because the love is missing, but because the conversations are empty. The connection is shallow. The words exchanged are nothing more than formalities. How was your day? Good. What did you eat? The usual. What are you up to? Nothing much. Is this love? Is this the kind of bond that keeps two souls tied together for a lifetime? No. Love is not just about being physically present, it is about being mentally, emotionally, and spiritually present in each other's lives. A woman wants to talk about her dreams, and here you say, "Tell me more." She wants to express her fears, and here you say, "I understand." She wants to share her past without feeling judged. She wants to talk about the future and feel your excitement, not your indifference. She wants a conversation that ignites something deep within her. A conversation that makes her think, makes her feel, makes her crave more of your presence. Look at the strongest relationships around you, the ones that have stood the test of time, the ones that are not just together, but deeply connected. What do they have in common? It's not just attraction, not just shared interests, not just routine. It is the ability to talk about anything and everything without fear, without hesitation, without feeling like they need to filter their thoughts. When a woman loves you, she doesn't just want to share a bed with you. She wants to share ideas, perspectives, experiences. She wants conversations that make her heart race, that make her see the world differently. She wants to sit across from you, sipping coffee, and feel like she's discovering a new side of you every single day. She wants to laugh until her stomach hurts. She wants to argue about philosophies, about the meaning of life, about whether destiny is real or if everything is just coincidence. She wants to cry in front of you without shame, to tell you about her childhood, about the scars she never talks about the things that shaped her into the woman she is today. And she wants you to be fully there, fully engaged, fully present. Too many men underestimate the power of conversation. They think love is about gestures, about grand surprises, about expensive dates. And yes, those things may add sparks. But it is words that create the fire. It is the unfiltered, raw, deep conversations that make a woman think, this is the man I want to talk to for the rest of my life. She wants to tell you about her passion for art, and instead of a dismissive cool, she wants to see your eyes light up and hear you ask, what kind of art inspires you the most? She wants to talk about the book she's reading, and instead of changing the topic, she wants to hear you say, tell me what you love about it. She wants to discuss things that matter, things that make her feel alive, things that remind her why she chooses to stay with you every single day. If you truly want to win a woman's heart, don't just listen to her words, listen to the emotions behind them. Don't just nod along, engage. Ask her questions that make her soul dance. Give her conversations that make her feel connected to you in a way she never has with anyone else. Because at the end of the day, looks fade, excitement settles, and life gets busy. But the ability to have deep, meaningful conversations, that is what keeps love alive. Love is not proven in grand gestures done once. It is shown in the small, consistent efforts that never stop. A woman does not fall for a man because he impresses her for a day. She falls for the man who impresses her every day in the little ways that most people overlook. The world is full of people who start strong but fade away, who show up with intensity but disappear when it matters most. But the man who is consistent, the man who keeps showing up, even when there is no special occasion, even when there is no audience, even when life gets busy, that is the man who earns her trust, her respect, and her love. Imagine planting a seed. You water it once, and for a moment it glistens, it absorbs the moisture, it thrives. But if you forget about it the next day and the day after, what happens? It dries out, it withers, it dies. Relationships are the same. You don't build love with one moment of effort. You build love by showing up again and again without waiting for a reason. Most men think effort is about doing something big when they made a mistake, about buying flowers when they've hurt her, about writing love letters only when they feel like they might lose her. But that is not effort. That is fear disguised as love. Real effort is not about fixing things when they are broken, it's about taking care of them so they never break in the first place. Look around you. How many relationships have you seen that started with fire, with passion, with promises that seemed unshakable, only to crumble because someone stopped trying? Because someone thought, I have her now, I don't need to put in the same energy. But love is not something you win once and keep forever. Love is something you nurture every single day. Consistency means remembering the small things. It means not just saying, I love you when she asks, but saying it because you feel it. It means not just paying attention when she's upset, but paying attention even when everything seems fine. It means doing what you said you would do, not once, not twice, but always. It means that if you started by opening doors for her, by sending good morning texts, by making her feel special, you don't stop just because time has passed. You don't stop just because she is already yours. Women notice everything. They notice when your good morning messages start becoming just Jim. They notice when you used to ask how their day was, but now you assume they will just tell you. They notice when you used to listen with excitement, but now you listen with distraction. And slowly, without words, without fights, without warnings, love starts slipping away, not because anything dramatic happened, but because effort faded. Imagine a musician who plays a beautiful tune for one night and then never touches his instrument again. Will he still be called a musician? Imagine an athlete who trains hard for one competition but then never practices again. Will he still be called an athlete? Love is the same. It is a skill, a practice, a dedication. If you stop putting in effort, you don't get to complain when she stops feeling the same way. A woman doesn't expect you to be perfect. She doesn't expect you to never make mistakes. But what she does expect is for you to try, to care, to be there, not just when it's easy, not just when it's exciting, but even in the ordinary moments, even in the routines, even when life is throwing challenges at you. She wants to know that you are not just choosing her today, but that you will keep choosing her every day, without hesitation. There will be days when you are tired, there will be days when your mind is elsewhere. There will be days when you don't feel like putting in the extra effort, and those are the days that will define your relationship. Not the good days, not the days filled with laughter and romance, but the days when you still choose to try even when you don't feel like it. Effort is not about perfection, it is about presence. It is about showing up when it's inconvenient. It is about being reliable when she needs someone to count on. It is about making her feel like she doesn't have to fight for your attention because you give it freely. It is about proving that your words are not just words but promises backed by action. Because in the end, love doesn't die in explosions, in betrayals, in heartbreaks. Love dies in the small, unnoticed moments when effort disappears. When she stops expecting you to care because you stop showing her that you do. When she stops telling you about her day because she already knows you're not listening. When she stops getting excited to see you because you no longer bring the energy that once made her feel alive. If you want to be different from the rest, be the man who keeps trying, not because he has to, but because he wants to. Be the man who understands that love is built on effort, and effort is built on consistency. Be the man who never lets the fire die, because he knows that love, real love, is not found, it is made every single day. Loyalty is not proven in words. It is not a promise whispered in moments of passion or a vow written in elegant letters. Loyalty is proven in actions, in silence, in the choices you make when no one is watching. It is not about saying, "I will always be here for you." It is about being there again and again, even when circumstances make it difficult. A woman does not just want loyalty in the easy moments. She wants unwavering loyalty when life tests you, when distractions tempt you, when the world offers you 100 reasons to walk away and yet you stay. Trust is not something that can be demanded, it is something that is earned piece by piece. Through the small things that people often take for granted, it is built when you remember the little details she tells you, when you protect her secrets as if they are your own, when you choose honesty even when a lie would be easier. Trust is not built in a single moment. It is reinforced over time through consistency, through reliability, through proving that your words are not just words but a reflection of who you truly are. Think of a bridge. If every day one brick is removed, at first nothing seems different. But over time, the structure weakens and one day it collapses. That is how trust is lost. It does not break all at once. It erodes, piece by piece, through forgotten commitments, through small lies, through moments of betrayal that seemed insignificant but left a mark. And once a bridge collapses, rebuilding it is never the same. A woman watches everything, not because she is suspicious, not because she is insecure, but because she has seen the world and she knows that loyalty is rare. She has seen men claim love while entertaining temptations. She has seen promises made with passion but broken with convenience. She has seen people who were everything at the beginning but became unrecognizable over time. And so she observes not to doubt you, but to see if your actions match your words. Loyalty is not just about being physically faithful, it is about emotional loyalty. It is about making her feel like she is enough, like she is the only one who holds your heart even when she is not around. It is about the way you speak about her when she is not in the room, the way you defend her in conversations, the way you make sure that no other woman feels like she has the space to replace her. It is about never making her compete for your attention, never making her feel like she is an option instead of a priority. A man who is truly loyal does not just avoid betraying his woman, he actively reassures her that he never will. He does not keep her guessing about where she stands. He does not make her feel foolish for trusting him. He does not engage in behaviors that create doubt and then blame her for overthinking. He understands that loyalty is not just about avoiding the wrong actions, it is about making the right choices that reinforce security, that make her feel safe, that make her feel irreplaceable. Trust is fragile. One moment of dishonesty, one instance of betrayal, one careless act of disloyalty can shatter what took years to build. And the biggest mistake people make is thinking that sorry can fix everything. A sorry does not undo the pain. A sorry does not erase the sleepless nights. A sorry does not make a woman forget the moment she realized that the person she trusted the most was capable of breaking her heart. The truth is, once trust is broken, love never feels the same. There will always be a scar, a wound, an hesitation that was never there before. And that is why true loyalty is not about fixing mistakes, it is about never making them in the first place. Imagine a castle built with strength, with walls high enough to withstand any storm. But what happens when a small crack is ignored? The rain seeps in, the wind breaks through, and before you know it, the entire structure collapses. Relationships are the same. The small cracks, the little betrayals, the moments of dishonesty, the times when loyalty was tested and failed. Those are what destroy love. Because love at its core is not just about attraction, not just about passion, not just about compatibility. Love is about trust. And when trust is gone, love is just a word. Every woman has a limit. She may forgive, she may give second chances, she may try to understand, but there comes a moment when she realizes that her peace is more valuable than the pain of waiting for someone to be loyal. There comes a moment when she no longer wants reassurance because she has already seen enough to know the truth. And when that moment comes, no apology, no promise, no grand gesture will bring her back. Because the deepest wounds are not caused by enemies. They are caused by the people who were supposed to protect our hearts. Loyalty is a choice. It is a discipline. It is an unshakable decision to never let temporary desires destroy something permanent. And the men who understand this, the men who live by this, are the ones who never have to beg a woman to stay. They are the ones who never have to convince her that they can be trusted, because she already knows. Not because he told her, but because he showed her every single day. A real man is not the one who never makes mistakes. A real man is the one who knows when he is wrong, has the courage to accept it and the strength to change. It is easy to blame, to argue, to find excuses. It is easy to turn away, to let pride take over, to act as if nothing happened. But do you know what is difficult? Looking into the eyes of the woman you love and saying, "I was wrong, I hurt you, and I will do better." That is power. That is the kind of man a woman respects. Apologizing is not about saying a few words just to end an argument. It is not about saying sorry to make things go back to normal. A true apology is not about words, it is about transformation. It is about making sure that the same mistake never happens again. When a woman is upset, it is not because she enjoys arguments, it is not because she loves to fight. It is because she trusted you, she relied on you, she expected something better from you. And when you let her down, it is not her anger that you should be worried about, it is her disappointment. Imagine you have a glass of water, clear and pure. That is how trust feels in a relationship. But now imagine adding a single drop of ink. The water is no longer the same. The more mistakes, the more ink. And soon what was once clear becomes something unrecognizable. That is what happens when you refuse to acknowledge your mistakes. That is what happens when you let ego win instead of love. The strongest relationships are not built on perfection. They are built on accountability. A woman does not expect you to be flawless, but she does expect you to be responsible for your flaws. She does not want a man who never makes mistakes. She wants a man who learns from them. A man who listens when she speaks. A man who does not dismiss her feelings as drama or overreacting. Because when she tells you that something hurt her, she is not attacking you. She is giving you a chance to fix it. She is giving you the opportunity to be better. Think about this. If a child falls while learning to walk, what does he do? He gets up, he tries again. And again, he does not say, I give up, walking is not for me. No, he learns, he grows, he improves. And yet when it comes to relationships, so many men refuse to do the same. They refuse to acknowledge where they went wrong. They refuse to try again with better understanding. They refuse to listen, to learn, to improve. And then they wonder why love fades, why the woman who once adored them now looks at them with tired eyes. A woman notices everything. She notices when you listen and when you pretend to listen. She notices when your words match your actions and when they don't. She notices when you say you will change but repeat the same patterns. And nothing is more painful for a woman than realizing that the person she loves is not willing to grow, that the person she gives her heart to is not willing to protect it. Do you know what makes a woman lose faith? It is not the mistake itself. It is the lack of effort to correct it. It is the moment she realizes that your apologies mean nothing because your actions remain the same. A woman can forgive almost anything, but she cannot respect a man who refuses to evolve. An apology without change is just manipulation. A true apology comes with awareness, with action, with proof that you value her enough to grow. Because love is not just about passion, not just about attraction, not just about being together. Love is about making each other better. Love is about inspiring each other to become the best versions of yourselves. When a woman argues, when she points out where you hurt her, do not see it as an attack. See it as a mirror that reflects the parts of you that need to be refined. And instead of breaking the mirror, instead of ignoring it, use it. Use it to grow, use it to improve, use it to become the kind of man who does not just say, I love you, but proves it through his actions. Many men think that admitting their mistakes makes them weak. But the truth is, nothing is stronger than a man who can say, I was wrong. Nothing is more attractive than a man who can say, I will do better. Because that man is not just looking for temporary peace, he is looking for long-term love. That man is not just trying to win the argument, he is trying to win her trust. And that is the man she will never forget. That is the man she will always respect. There is no shame in making mistakes. The shame is in refusing to fix them. The shame is in losing a woman who would have loved you endlessly simply because you refuse to change. The shame is in realizing too late that love is not lost in grand betrayals, it is lost in the small moments when you refuse to listen, when you refuse to improve, when you refuse to fight for something that was worth fighting for. A woman doesn't just need a shield against the world, she needs a fortress for her soul. Protection is not just about standing in front of her when danger arrives. It is about standing beside her when the world feels heavy, when her heart feels tired, when she doubts herself. It is about creating a space where she feels safe, not just in body but in mind, in heart, in spirit. Many men believe that protection is about strength, about fighting off threats, about ensuring physical safety. And while that is important, do you know what is even more powerful? The ability to protect her peace, to guard her heart, to shelter her emotions from storms she doesn't speak of. A woman carries so much inside her. The battles she fights are often silent, unseen. The weight of expectations, of responsibilities, of the world telling her who she should be, how she should act, what she should feel. And sometimes the person she loves the most is the only refuge she has. But if that person, the man she trusts, becomes another storm instead of her shelter, then tell me, Where does she go? Protection beyond the physical means becoming her sanctuary. It means protecting her from the wounds that don't leave bruises but cut deep inside. The words that people throw at her, the doubts that creep into her mind, the fears that try to steal her confidence. It means being the voice that drowns out her insecurities, the presence that makes her feel safe enough to be vulnerable. Do you know what breaks a woman more than anything? Feeling like she has to be strong all the time. Feeling like there is no place where she can let go, where she can be soft, where she can be held without being judged. Protection is not about fighting the world for her. It is about making sure she never has to fight alone. It is about making her feel like no matter how cruel the world gets, she always has one person who will never make her feel small. Imagine a tree standing tall in the storm. The winds push, the rain falls, the branches shake. That is life. It will test her. It will try to break her. But what keeps the tree standing? The roots, the unseen support, the strength beneath the surface. And that is what you must be. Her foundation, her silent strength. The thing that keeps her grounded when everything else is trying to tear her apart. Protection is not just about holding her hand in the daylight, it is about holding her heart in the darkness. When she is quiet, when she is distant, when she is struggling with things she doesn't know how to express, do you notice? Do you listen to the silence between her words? Do you protect her from her own self-doubt? From the voices in her mind that tell her she is not enough? Every woman wants to feel safe, but not just from harm. She wants to feel safe in your love, safe in your presence, safe in the knowledge that you will never make her feel like she has to earn your kindness. She wants to know that she can fall apart and you will not run, that she can tell you her fears and you will not dismiss them, that she can trust you with the parts of her that the world has been too careless with. So many men think protection is about standing tall, about being strong, but do you know the greatest strength? The strength to be gentle, the strength to be patient, the strength to be her calm when life feels chaotic. Any man can raise his fists to defend a woman, but a real man knows how to raise his heart to protect her spirit. A real man does not just guard her body. He guards her trust, he guards her dreams, he guards her from anything that makes her doubt her own worth. And let me tell you something. If you do not protect her in this way, someone else will. Not with money, not with grand gestures, but with presence, with understanding, with a love so deep that she never has to question if she is alone. And once she finds that kind of protection, she will never settle for anything less. Because a woman does not leave when she stops loving. She leaves when she no longer feels safe. There is no glory in being a man who can fight for her, but cannot fight for her peace. There is no honor in being a man who can stand against the world, but cannot stand beside her in her weakest moments. If you want to be the kind of man she trusts with her heart, then understand this. Her safety is not just about keeping harm away. It is about making sure she never feels alone in her pain. Be the place where she can rest. Be the one who does not just love her when she is happy, but holds her when she is breaking. Be the man who does not just say, "I will protect you," but proves it in the way he makes her feel safe, valued, unbreakable. Because when a woman feels protected in ways that go beyond the physical, she does not just love you, she trusts you with every part of who she is. A woman's heart is not a puzzle to be solved, it is a universe to be explored. Her feelings are not just fleeting emotions that come and go like waves on the shore. They are messages, echoes of her deepest desires, her silent fears, her unspoken dreams. And the greatest mistake a man can make is to assume that understanding her feelings is optional. It is not. It is essential. Effort in understanding her feelings is not about agreeing with everything she says. It is not about nodding absent-mindedly while waiting for your turn to speak. It is about listening, not just with your ears, but with your presence, with your soul. It is about recognizing the emotions behind her words, the hidden meanings in her silences, the weight she carries in her heart even when she smiles. Too often, men think that if a woman loves them, she should simply say what she feels, express everything clearly, make it easy for them to understand. But emotions do not work like that. Feelings are complex, layered, sometimes even contradictory. A woman does not always need solutions, sometimes she just needs to be heard. Sometimes she just needs to know that her emotions are valid, that she is not being too sensitive, that her pain is not being dismissed as drama. Imagine a rainy day. You see the dark clouds gathering, the wind shifting, the sky warning of what is to come. That is how a woman's emotions often move, gradually, subtly, waiting for someone to notice before the storm arrives. But if you are only paying attention when the thunder roars, you have already failed. Because real effort is in noticing the small shifts before they turn into storms. It is in recognizing when she is pulling away, when her laughter has changed, when the spark in her eyes is not as bright as it used to be. A woman does not want a man who only listens when she breaks down in tears. She wants a man who pays attention before she reaches that point. She wants a man who can read between the lines, who notices the difference between "I'm fine" and "I need you." She wants a man who does not just assume that silence means she has nothing to say, but instead understands that silence can sometimes be the loudest cry for help. Understanding her feelings is not about being perfect. It is not about always knowing the right thing to say. It is about trying, about caring enough to ask, about making an effort to learn the language of her heart. And this effort does not require grand gestures or expensive gifts. It requires presence. It requires looking into her eyes and seeing beyond the surface, into the places she does not always let the world see. Think about the strongest women you know. They are not strong because they never feel pain. They are strong because they have learned to carry their pain alone. And if a man is lucky enough to be loved by such a woman, his greatest responsibility is to remind her that she does not have to carry it alone anymore. But how can he do that if he does not even try to understand what she is carrying? You see, there is a difference between hearing and listening. Hearing is passive, it requires no effort. Listening is active, it requires presence, patience, the willingness to step outside of yourself and enter someone else's world. And when a woman feels truly heard, something magical happens. She softens, she trusts, she allows herself to be seen in a way that she really does. But when she feels unheard, when she feels like her emotions are an inconvenience, like she has to suppress her feelings just to keep the peace, do you know what happens? She shuts down, she stops sharing, she stops believing that you care enough to try. And when that happens, even love is not enough to save the relationship. Because love without understanding is like a fire without oxygen. It fades, it dies, it becomes a memory of what once was. A woman's feelings are not obstacles to be avoided, they are invitations to deeper connection. They are the bridge between love and true intimacy. They are the key to a relationship that is not just built on attraction, but on something far more powerful: emotional security. And when a woman feels emotionally secure, she becomes the best version of herself. She loves without fear, she trusts without hesitation, she gives without holding back. But she cannot do that if she constantly feels like she is speaking a language that you refuse to learn. If she feels like her emotions are burdens instead of bridges. If she feels like no matter how much she tries to express herself, you are only half listening, only half present, only half invested. So ask yourself, are you really making an effort to understand the woman you love? Do you listen to her words or only to the parts that are convenient for you? Do you recognize her emotions or do you dismiss them when they make you uncomfortable? Do you take the time to see her, truly see her, not just as a partner, but as a human being with a heart that is just as complex, just as deep, just as worthy of understanding as your own? Because a woman who feels understood is a woman who feels safe. And a woman who feels safe is a woman who will love you in a way that no one else ever will. A man without direction is like a ship without a compass, drifting, lost, moving but going nowhere. And for a woman who is building her life, shaping her dreams and growing every single day, there is nothing more unsettling than standing beside a man who has no clarity about where he is headed. A woman does not expect a man to have all the answers, but she expects him to have a purpose, a vision, a reason to wake up in the morning and chase something bigger than himself. She expects him to be more than just present. She expects him to be driven. Imagine two people walking together. One knows exactly where they are going, their pace is steady, their steps are firm. The other is aimless, stopping here and there, unsure if they even want to walk at all. How long do you think they can walk together before one starts pulling the other back, before frustration sets in, before the one who is certain begins to feel the weight of carrying the one who is lost? This is what happens when a woman with ambition, growth and dreams meets a man who has no sense of direction in life. At first, she might try to encourage him, she might try to inspire him, she might even believe that her love alone is enough to give him purpose. But love is not a map. Love cannot create direction where there is none. And eventually she will feel the exhaustion of trying to pull someone toward a future they are not even willing to build for themselves. A woman is not looking for a man who is already at the top of the mountain. She is looking for a man who is willing to climb. A man who, no matter how many times he stumbles, never stops moving forward. A man who, even if he does not have all the answers, is at least asking the right questions. Because a man with purpose is a man with strength. And strength is not in how much weight you can lift. It is in how much responsibility you are willing to take for your own life. Think of the most inspiring men in history. Were they the richest, the strongest, the most powerful from the start? No. They were the men who had vision. The men who, despite all odds, kept moving forward. The men who understood that purpose is not something you find, it is something you create. A woman does not need a man who is perfect. She needs a man who is progressing. A man who is not comfortable being stagnant. A man who does not sit in his failures and complain about how unfair life is. Because life is unfair to everyone. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not luck, it is direction. It is the decision to take control instead of making excuses. Every woman deep down wants to feel safe in a relationship. And safety is not just about physical protection, it is about knowing that the man she stands beside is strong enough to lead himself before he tries to lead a relationship. If he cannot take control of his own future, how can she trust him to walk beside her in hers? If he does not know where he is going, how can she believe that their journey together has any meaning? Direction is not just about career, money or success. It is about knowing who you are, knowing what you stand for, knowing what you are willing to fight for. A man with no sense of direction will always be swayed by the world. One day he wants this, the next day he wants that. He will change his goals, his values, even his identity just to fit into whatever is easiest at the moment. But a man with direction, he is unshakable. He is steady. He is not looking for the easiest path, he is creating his own. A woman does not want to be your compass. She does not want to be the one always pushing you forward while you resist. She wants to walk beside you, not drag you. She wants to build with you, not carry you. And the moment she realizes that she is more focused on your growth than you are, she will start to question why she is even there. A man with no direction is like a car with no fuel. He looks good from the outside, but he is not going anywhere. And the painful truth is, a woman who values herself will not sit in a car that is parked indefinitely. She will step out, she will walk away, and she will find someone who is actually going somewhere. The world does not owe you direction. No one is coming to hand you a map and tell you which way to go. You must decide, you must take control. Because the moment you do, everything changes. The way you walk, the way you speak, the way you carry yourself. It all shifts when you have a purpose. And when a woman sees that in you, when she sees that you are a man who is building something, chasing something, growing into something, she will stand by you, she will believe in you, she will walk through fire with you. But only if you are willing to move, only if you are willing to rise, only if you are willing to prove, not with words, not with promises, but with action, that you are a man who knows where he is going. A man without direction is like a river with no flow, stagnant, lifeless, going nowhere. And here's the truth most people refuse to accept. No woman wants to invest her heart into a man who is lost within himself, because love alone is not enough. Love does not replace purpose. Love cannot compensate for a lack of ambition. A woman does not need a man to be perfect, but she needs to see that he is in motion, that he is striving, that he is becoming. There is a saying, a lion does not turn round when a small dog barks. Why? Because a lion knows who he is. A lion knows where he is going. A lion does not wander in confusion, waiting for someone else to show him the way. A real man must be the same. You cannot afford to be like the lost sheep, waiting for a shepherd to come and lead you. In this world, no one is coming to rescue you. No one is coming to hand you a ready-made purpose. You must take control of your life. You must build your own path. You must decide what kind of man you are going to be. And let's be honest, this is not about impressing women. This is not about proving something to anyone else. This is about you. Because when you wake up every morning with no goal, no passion, no fire burning inside you, what kind of life is that? A man without direction is a man who is merely existing, not truly living. And when a woman sees that, she will not stay, not because she does not love you, but because she refuses to shrink herself just to fit into a life without growth. Think of the greatest men who ever walked this earth. Did they sit around waiting for motivation to strike? No, they created their own destiny. They forged their own path. They did not wait for the world to tell them who they should be. They decided who they would become. And that decision, that fire, is what draws people toward them. A woman will stand by your side if she sees you walking toward something. But if she has to push you, if she has to beg you to want more for yourself, if she has to convince you to chase your own dreams, then she is not your partner, she is your babysitter. And that is not love, that is a burden. You say you want loyalty, you say you want a woman who will never leave, then be a man who gives her something worth standing by. Be a man who inspires confidence, not doubt. Be a man who, even in his failures, never stops trying. Because a man with vision, a man with purpose, a man who refuses to be stagnant, he will never have to chase a woman's loyalty. She will give it willingly because she will see in him something rare, something real, something worth believing in. It is said ships don't sink because of the water around them, they sink because of the water that gets inside them. A man who lacks direction drowns in his own doubts, his own fears, his own excuses. But a man who stands firm in his purpose, nothing can shake him. No storm can break him. And that is the kind of man who commands not just a woman's love, but her deepest respect. So ask yourself, what kind of man do you want to be? One who waits for life to happen to him? Or one who takes control of his own story? Because the choice is yours. And the moment you make that choice, the moment you step into your power, everything will change. Not just in your relationships, but in your entire life. The world belongs to those who dare to rise, those who dare to move, those who dare to lead. Be that man.